With CRPS, I'd just like to mention that it's hard to find the right words. So it's a
But
disability all on its own. So I
okay.
apologize for
No,
some of my
never
mistakes.
apologize.
Okay.
I make more mistakes before 10 o'clock in the morning than you make all day, so do not worry about it. Go ahead.
um, One after another, brain cells receive messages from the brain via electrical signals. Also, the CNS is composed of 10% neurons and 90% glial cells. Neuralgia administer support and protect neurons. Neurons are cells that relay messages to the brain. Dissimilar to neurons, the cells don't send electrical impulses. In place of, they encircle and insulate neurons from one another. Neuralgia holds neurons in place and provides nutrients, including oxygen to the specialized nerve transmitting cells. As a whole, neurons are indispensable to the working brain. Ergo, in CRPS, dormant glial cells become activated. Glia follicle secretes an inflammatory substance to transmit the arousal of pain impulses in the central nervous system. And this reaction induces the body to process pain signals before they reach the brain.
Wow, that's kind of crazy.
It is.
You must suffer a lot.
I do. So at hand, sensory and motor neurons function in the peripheral nervous system. At full length, sensory neurons journey from the receptors to every place in the body. They provide a link between stimulus in the way of cold, heat, and pain. The sensory neurons joined the central nervous system to the body's glands and muscles. Side by side, sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch, sense organs, act as an agent amid stimulus and the central nervous system. As well, sensory neurons send nerve impulses throughout the body to the central nervous system. In conjunction with the peripheral nervous system contains motor neurons. So for all practical purposes, they link to the central nervous system and to the body's glands and muscles. As well, motor neurons relay nerve impulses with muscles and glands.
So we're taking an example of your book,
Mm-hmm.
and we're reading sections of it to
We
describe, to break it down, and then we're going to go back and ask you, okay, this is extremely in-depth and very, very well written, and then we're going to ask you to break it down into simple language, and then we'll tackle the whole thing. But this is a great explanation. So we're going from here: lack of pain inhibition.
Lack of pain inhibition impulses. The neuropathic agony stems from a dysfunction in the nervous system. The ineffectual involves a pain signaling process to the brain from the spine. Amendments take place once the onset of pain signals gets to the spinal cord. In turn, the spinal cord sorts out which signs to send to the brain, along with which ones to hold back or change. The brain responds to pain signals by firing lack of pain inhibition impulses. For this reason, any consciousness and emotional experiences derive from the hypothalamus and the limbic system. While the spinal cord and brain become swamped with assailing pain signals, nerves become hypersensitized, setting in motion an increased expression of the NMDA receptor in neuropathic pain, in addition to awakening glial cells. The central nervous system becomes receptive to pain signals, causing it to become inflamed. As well, neurons become subjected to central sensitization. As a whole, the automatic pain and motor system changes. To sum up, the body increases the pain intensity.
Wow. So on a normal day, what do you face? Give me a breakdown. When you get up in the morning, where's your pain at one being the lightest amount of pain and 10 being the worst? When you got out of bed in the morning, before you were using the cannabis, what would your pain level be at?
My pain level was at a 10 and more
Really?
before getting out of
Before
bed.
getting out of bed.
Yes.
And when you went to sleep, did it get worse during the night as you slept, or did you go to sleep in horrible pain too?
Well, I couldn't sleep. I suffered from pain insomnia, and the pain level was so high that it kept me up all the time. And if I did fall asleep, it was from exhaustion, and so I would pass out for maybe 20, 30 minutes and then be awake again and go through that same process throughout the night.
You did that all night?
All
Oh
night for
my
years.
goodness! How many years did you?
For at least good 20 years.
Just doing like that all night? Just catnapping, forcing yourself into an exhaustive state where your body is just it's amped up the pain, and it's just horrible. That you can see why people say, you know what, is this worth it? You know, is it worth staying on Earth?
That's right. There's people who
After
want to
20
jump out of
ye-
their skin. This is known as the suicide disease.
Is it?
Yes, it
I
is.
did not know this.
Yeah. And
No
so
kidding.
it's pain and ice and fire, and